Hey everyone, you're here with Mark Batwell at perfectgardens.com. So today we're going to get into the Lotus nutrients. I'm going to be going over what's in the back of each of the bottles, as well as the nutrient feed schedule, giving my own opinion, and all that other stuff. Next, I just want to also say thank you so much to Lone Wolf for just pointing out the fact-based transparency of approach of what I'm doing with this stuff. And once again, all I'm doing is I have my own core value system. Because I have been swindled every which way from Sunday, I have learned to interpret bullshit. I would probably have to say I'm one of the foremost experts on interpreting bullshit. And I don't mind getting my hands dirty, per se. I really don't mind really just getting in there, taking a big old whiff of it, and just being like, hey guys, I know you might think this looks good, but this is shit. And and I don't mind getting the arrows in the back, pointing to all the cognitive dissonance, decision-making processes. Because I've went through these things myself. I've had to work through my own ideas, thinking that that was the best idea, and come to realize later down the road I'm causing an issue. Thing about it though is that a lot of these nutrient lines, a lot of companies, right when they make an investment, it's difficult for them to change once they start, or they think it's difficult for them to make a change. So let's go ahead and dive into this nutrient line and see what they're all about. Are you tired of getting crappy advice from your local hydroponics store? Or having to search all over forums to get advice that only takes you in different directions than solving your immediate problem? Well, join our membership for $50 a month. You get direct access to me. We'll connect on WhatsApp app. And just like this gentleman that started back in July with us, as problems arise, we are here for you. Okay, so the first thing, let's go ahead and get into just the first thing, their marketing and name. Okay, so if I was walking down a fertilizer nutrient line in a hydroponics store, I would definitely have to say that I would be attracted to this nutrient line. For two reasons. It stimulates me in two different ways. First, on the marketing side. First, they're using the geometric shapes, and that makes me think that we have a similar thought process. Second, they use the word lotus. Lotus and lingam are words for the vagina and the penis. So when they use these two things together, it makes me think that it's not just a flower. I know it's a flower and I know it's this, but there's other meanings behind this beyond just the lotus and the flower. So just those two things would stimulate me sexually, and also would make me wonder more about what they're thinking and their interpretation toward life. Because I'm not just this person that's like, oh, lotus, oh, vagina, oh, like I'm sexually stimulated, I'm gonna buy it. And that's the sad thing is that because I seek deeper than a superficial mindset around these things, I know what entrepreneurs think. I know what business people think. I would love to get into the conversation with the owner of this company and ask him why he or she created the name Lotus, used the word lotus and flower. Because if they know what I know, I would think that they are also trying to capitalize on a sexuality portion of their nutrient line, or bring a sexiness to it. Anyways, which is marketing to me, and it's also one of the first red flags, because, I'm not saying anything about men or women. I'm just saying that a lot of times people that really care about their products don't really get caught up in the marketing. And because of that reason, they don't make attractive labels and they don't make attractive things. So when someone's trying to make something sexy and attractive, for me, it's a flag, because I've been duped like that before. I don't want to say been duped, but because of my own addictions, I got all caught up in the situation, and then lo and behold, regretted my decision. And then reflecting back on why I made the decision, I realized that I got caught up on the shininess of it all versus getting caught up in the depth, and being willing to take the time to really comprehend what I was getting involved with. I just got caught up on the storyline. I was going to make a shitload of money, or, you know, I was going to get the opportunity to hook up with this chick or whatever. I didn't look deeper in realizing that to make that money, I would have to screw someone over, or to hook up with this chick, I would have to make decisions outside of my value system, whatever. So that's the first red flag for me personally. It would attract me, but it would also put a flag up because I have had bad experiences just doing stuff like that. Okay, next thing. Let's go ahead and get into the nutrient feed schedule and see if there's anything else that kind of pops out at me. Okay, so things I do like about it is it has only 5 products in the whole nutrient line, so it's trying to keep things very simple for everyone, and I like that. So well-rooted clones and seedlings. Week 1, they're recommending you use a half teaspoon per gallon. You'll have an EC rate of 0.9 EC and a parts per million of 450 parts per million. So they're also recommending to use RO water. Don't use tap water. So week 1 and week 2 will actually be the same recommended dosages for well-rooted clones or seedlings. Vegetative stage. Week 1. You'll be using grow at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon and no CalMag. You'll be looking for an EC rate of 1.9 EC or parts per million of 900 parts per million. Okay, so right at the very beginning, you're having a parts per million, 900 parts per million. If you've watched some of my past videos, I've talked to you guys a lot about when your microbiology begins to shut down. And your microbiology begins to shut down roughly at a rate of 900 parts per million when you're using synthetic fertilizer. I don't know if this product line is synthetic. I haven't dived into that yet. I will be diving into that in the next couple videos, so just stay tuned. So week 1 and week 2 at vegetative state, it will stay the same. You'll be using grow only at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon, no CalMag. Your EC rate will be 1.9 EC, or your parts per million is 900 parts per million. Week 3, you'll be increasing the grow to 1 1/4 teaspoon per gallon. No CalMag. Looking for an EC rate of 2.4 EC, or a parts per million of 1200 parts per million. Okay, so that's the first thing. This is another flag that I start to see. So they're using geometric shapes. They're using ancient language. And I hate to say ancient language because of Lotus and Lingam. It's just a different terminology. And once again, you know, they're using the flower, and it's a flower right here. And I know they could say, oh, it's a lotus, it's a flower. Yeah, but it's more than that. There's more things being said here. And so when they're using geometric shapes, and now they're using a parts per million of 1200 parts per million, and I know they're getting past the point of shutting down the microbiology, that is not a higher consciousness decision-making process, you know, and they're using geometric shapes. So now I'm starting to kind of wonder a little bit more about this nutrient line. Are they actually making decisions in line with their core values? Do they have core values? Why are they using these symbols? Because their parts per million are not creating a healthy root system or soil system, really, for microbiology. But again, I don't know if they're a synthetic nutrient line or a nutrient line that is set up to grow with microbiology. So we'll dive into that later, but I'm starting to think this is a synthetic nutrient line altogether. Week 4, you'll be using grow at a rate of 1 1/4 teaspoon per gallon, and you'll begin to use CalMag at a rate of a half teaspoon per gallon. Your EC rate is going to be 2.8 EC, and your parts per million you're looking for is 1350 parts per million. Okay, as you go into flowering, you'll begin to reduce the grow at a half teaspoon per gallon. You'll begin to use the bloom at a 3/4 of a teaspoon per gallon, and you'll begin to use CalMag at a rate of a half teaspoon per gallon. No boost and no carboflush. You're looking at EC rate of 2, or parts per million of 1,000. Alright, so what I see here is you get up to 1350, and then also in flowering you get up to 1300. So that's not too far off from 900. This might be a half synthetic, half microbiology nutrient line. We'll see what's in these bottles once again in the next video. Okay, so week 2, you will stop using Grow 100%. You will increase your bloom at a rate of 1¼ teaspoons per gallon. You'll use CalMag at a ½ teaspoon per gallon. And you'll begin to use Boost at a ½ teaspoon per gallon. Your EC rate is 2.3. Your parts per million is 1150 parts per million. Okay, so I think they're doing a great job. They're backing down the Grow, the nitrogen, they're transitioning during this week. So I like what they're doing. And once again, they're only having a couple products. So I actually kind of like what they're doing here as well. Keeping it simple for the clients. Week 3, no Grow. Bloom will be at a rate of 1¼ teaspoon per gallon. CalMag will be at a ½ teaspoon per gallon, and Boost at a ½ teaspoon per gallon. So week 2 and week 3 will stay the same. Once again, looking for an EC rate of 2.3 and a parts per million of 1150 parts per million. Week 4, 5, and 6, just so I don't repeat myself, will actually stay 100% the same. So I'll just say it. Week 4, 5, and 6, no Grow. You'll be using Bloom at a rate of 1½ teaspoons per gallon. No CalMag. Boost at a rate of ½ teaspoon per gallon. No Carbo Flush. And your EC rate will be 2.6 EC, looking for parts per million of 1300 parts per million. When it changes, it'll be week 7. When it changes, whether you're using growing a 8-weeker, a 10-weeker, a 12-weeker, this week 4 to week 6 could go also week 7, week 8, week 9 if you had a longer flowering strain plant. So the week before you flush is when you're going to transition, whenever that is for you and your strain. So at that time, you're going to use no Grow. Your bloom will be at a rate of 1½ teaspoons per gallon, no CalMag, no Boost, and you'll begin to use the Carbo Flush at a rate of 3/4 teaspoon per gallon. Your EC will be 2.2 EC, and your parts per million will be 1100 parts per million. Last week, whether it's week 8 or whenever your final week of flowering is, you'll be using no nutrients, and you'll be using the Carbo Flush at a rate of 3¼ teaspoons per gallon. Okay, so I think overall, when I first look at the products, there's a couple flags I'm seeing, but it's not too bad, and I'm interested to see what's in the back of these bottles and breaking them down through their guaranteed analysis and see if they're making good decisions in line with the values or if they're living in a cognitive dissonance reality. Please give me a thumbs up, share and subscribe. It's always super helpful. Lone Wolf did point out that I don't really have a large subscriber base, and that's okay with me. Quality over quantity. So the few of you guys that are listening and staying dedicated to the channel, I appreciate that. That means the world to me. And I hope I'm answering your guys' questions, because this really my approach is. It's probably the reason, honestly, why I don't have a large subscriber base, is because I'm not really making the most popular videos that have lots of flashiness, and I'm not doing all that stuff. I am answering questions individually one at a time, which takes a lot of time, and then when I get into the videos and editing and so on, sometimes I could be answering one person's question completely, which could take 2 or 3 videos. It could take a week or 2 to completely answer the question to the best of my ability, but it's only really interesting to a couple people because it's a very specific question. Anyways, once again, please share the video. Please help me grow the channel in whatever way you guys can. Have a beautiful day and a great grow. Please look forward to the next part 2 as we get into the grow and the rest of the nutrient line.